as they started the campaign yesterday, and we will look at the games that they have so far played and what the future holds for them. And then we'll talk basketball. It was the All-Star weekend. We will look at what happened that side, as well as some cricket for you and European football. We'll take you from Germany, Spain, Italy, England, and we'll also preview the UEFA Champions League that is coming up tomorrow and Wednesday. This is Sports Bar on NTV in proud association with 9mm energy drink. Welcome back. My name is Patrick Kanyomos, your dedicated barman, and I have Brian Tuka here and Mark Namanya taking the side. Aisha is not on the counter tonight. Probably because we have rugby players here. That explains why. She decided to change seats, and she's seated close to Brian O'Dong, the Cubs captain, but also coming...
I'm very close.
I don't know who she is, but anyway. Welcome, guys. I see so many Cubs faces here, and like I said, tonight we are to stick to the champions and the Cubs, the rugby champions. You guys went through the entire season unbeaten. Incredible stuff there for the Cubs. However, we will start with continental football. Probably Brian has a thing or two to say. You look very fresh and younger than Joseph Minala.
By the way, I've heard stories to do with age cheating. Minala is out of this world. I've never seen, what I love about Minala's story is explanation from the journalist who covers Lazio youth football. He says it's strange that actually people think this guy is 41 years. I see the way he runs, he's so fast, he's running the young guys, and he's as fast as them. Then he says the way he looks might be not much in the 17 years. But listen, this guy grew up in an orphanage. Probably the problems he's been through has brought about the first looking as old as a 41-year-old.
Okay, but Mark was telling me if Minala is 17, then Mark is 8 here. But
I've never felt selfish like I am today, because I mean, if the size of anyone's body doesn't lie, man, we've got some huge guys in here, so, and they're champions at that, so I'm very safe. That's why I decided to go to the
Well, we will head.
She's serving them 9mm.
Yeah, she's serving them.
Or rather, they're serving us 9mm.
Of course, that's the energy drink that is recommended for you. We have one that is sugar-free, so you can have a taste of it. Well, we get straight to continental football. We had two Ugandan sides in the CAF Champions League as well as the CAF Confederations Cup, but we will start with the CAF Champions League, where KCCA took on El Merreikh on Saturday in the return leg, having triumphed 2-0 in Khartoum. KCCA lost the second leg 2-1 to the Sudanese side, but in the process progressed to the next round, 3-2 on aggregate for KCCA, and awaiting them is Nkana Red Devils from Zambia. Nkana Red Devils ejected Mbabane Swallows of Swaziland 5-4 on aggregate, so they will face off on the 1st of March in Chitwe before Nkana Red Devils come to Kampala on the 8th of March. But Mark Namanya, starting with you, KCCA went into the second leg in a very comfortable position, and that was helped by the early goal that they got through Tony Odul, and normally that should have given them confidence, but unfortunately that confidence was lacking from the way they played the remaining part of the game.
Yes, it was lacking, and by the end of the game it was KCC who couldn't wait for the final whistle, and I think they set themselves up after winning the first leg 2-0. I think I didn't fancy KCC to advance over the two legs. I thought they'd put up a fight. Before the tie, I didn't fancy them. After the 2-0 in Khartoum, I thought they'd given themselves a very good chance, a chance as any team will ever get in home and away football. I think the game went according to script, knowing Ugandan sides and the mentality of folding at the threshold of such campaigns. I thought the KCC was in line with typical Ugandan sides, you know. But they managed to see it through. It wasn't a very good game. And, I think they're there deservedly. I can't say they're in the next round undeservedly, because they set themselves up after winning in Khartoum.
Okay, well, with us here is Ron Chiseka, who plays for KCCA, and probably he's in the best position to tell us what could have happened to KCCA, what could have caused that lack of confidence, which was very evident, from wherever we were watching this game from. Chiseka, what exactly happened?
We had a game plan before the match started, and I believe most of our players are inexperienced, so they had, some of them had never played Champions League, so we had to concentrate a lot. We had too much pressure on us, so I believe we did our best. Okay. I believe the whole team did their best.
Okay. Now, but going into the game against Nkana, well, you have very few days to prepare for this one. Did you as a team talk about areas where you need to improve? Because obviously there is need for improvement in that KCCA side.
Of course we did that. It's what we have to do right now. We have to concentrate more and more, and we have to at least put right a few areas where we made so many mistakes. At this level, we know we don't need to make such mistakes like we did last game.
Unfortunately, they've already taken you to Nkana, but going back to the game, what exactly did the coach tell you going into that game? You're 2-0 up, you won the game away from Uganda. What exactly does the coach tell you? Because in your heads, you're thinking, okay, if we manage to win 2-0 away, we must be good to go. So what exactly did the coach tell you?
In football, anything can happen. The coach, they only told us to maintain, keep focus, stay on your feet all the time, don't lose it. That's all they said. Nothing more they could say.
First of all, Ron, you don't sound like a Ugandan player. I'm very impressed. but I'm very impressed. But
supposed to mean?
No, it's sounding good. In other words, I'm saying you're sounding good. I'm impressed. I'm telling you, no one hears some of them. What do you think of the game? Good. But I also think, on a defense of KCC, I think the truth is all over the world, even beyond Ugandan football, clearly it's very, very hard for a team to bring their A game when they won their first leg 2-0. With all due respect to Arsenal, when Arsenal beat Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena, I don't think they beat Bayern because of the better side. But it's because Bayern knew we already qualified, we did the job at the Emirates. There's no need for us to fight hard. And I think that was also working the KCCA.
So the element of complacency, I think.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it because they knew. Because KCC won the tie in Khartoum, not here. Because clearly, I think El Merreikh were the better side. But they knew we had qualified. We can just do enough and good enough. They did it in terms of getting an early goal. Atrocious defending, I think, from El Merreikh for me. The defender clearly should have cleared. Even Mark Namanya. In his worst state.
What is that supposed to mean?
He could have done a better job than that. But I think it was about an element of having it at the back of your mind that, you know what, we have a 2-0 and we can't do so much. But the good thing we have a coach here who follows football also. Maybe can explain that position.
Yeah, but as we come to Coach Anthony Ndaula, who is a coach of the national men's volleyball team. Really before we go to Coach Ndaula, Brian is bringing out the issue of complacency, and after that first leg in Khartoum, Nsimbe said that's one area he was going to focus on. So wasn't he able to convince you guys enough, or you just didn't pay attention to whatever he was telling you, not to get complacent ahead of the second leg?
Like I said, many of us had never been to that stage of the Champions League in that particular time. So we had to work so much, and we had to keep focus. We had so much fear in us, some of us, most of the players. So I believe they did too much.
All right.
I believe they did well.
Okay, Coach, as you come in on the issue of complacency, probably you can tell us the best way to deal with this.
It's something very difficult, especially after players have won a game. It is very, very difficult to keep them focused. Because you see, for instance, I would believe that KCC is winning the game 2-0 on the other side. They believed that actually if we can beat these fellows on their own turf, then at home it will be much easier. But of course they forget that the other team is saying that we have to overturn this 2-0 deficit. If they can beat us at our home, why can't we do it the other side? You get it? So for the coach, it is for us to tell the players, please, the tie is not over. Because we have seen bigger ties being even overturned.
Yeah.
So it is important to stay focused. Like he says, keep your feet on the ground. But still the players, it will always be working in their heads.
Actually, I think
That
Nkana
through
came
this.
from, is it 3 goals?
Well,
Yes.
yeah,
Correct,
so
you know?
that was the game between KCCAFC and El Merreikh of Sudan. The first leg in the second round, preliminary round, will be away in Chitwe in Zambia on the 1st of March, and then the return leg will be on the 8th of March. That would be KCCA hosting Nkana. Well, the coach was already saying that the fact that KCCFC ejected El Merreikh, that means they are a good side and they have already started preparing for them. Now, moving on, Victoria University bowed out of the CAF Confederations Cup despite winning 1-0 yesterday at Nambole. Matthew Dong with the goal there for Victoria University, but the damage had already been done in Lubumbashi where they lost 3-0 and in the process are out of the campaign. Well, crossing over to Aisha. Victoria University, this was their first time playing on the continent, and well, is it down to inexperience probably of the players and the coach? Well, Mole Biokaso, not one of the most experienced coaches that we have in the country. Do you think it was largely due to that?
I think it's a
your first time
mixture.
to sit there. So that's how it feels.
Well, I'm surrounded by all guys with big muscles, so it cannot be too bad.
That sounds sexy, yeah?
And a couple of Joseph Minera lookalikes. So.
Brian, why is you, man? You are captain, so it's okay.
Okay.
I did not specify, Brian, don't worry. But having said that, I think for Victoria, they really left it a little bit too late for them. And I think coupled with the whole inexperience on the continent, it's always going to be tough. Because even sides like KCC that have been there before, later on in the stages might actually struggle. It's very tough to get the kind of experience you need to go and play away and actually pick up a win or something like that, or even a draw for them. I think 3 goals down was a little bit too much for them. I thought it was always going to be very difficult to overturn that one, even with all the hope they had. I think they realized a little bit too late for that particular fixture of theirs in Nambole yesterday. Started attacking much more later. I think they missed the players that were suspended, because that could be seen even Savio Kabogo and Dennis Guma, but I think crying over Spielberg won't help them right now. But they got the experience. You think they are good enough to go on and win a Uganda Cup or even compete for the trophy again and ultimately go back to the continent.
Anyway, that's how it turned out on the continent. Well, Uganda's hopes will for now be carried by KCCAFC in the CAF Champions League. We now move on to rugby. The now special Rugby Premier League officially came to an end over the weekend, and Cobs, or the Dima Cobs, emerged winners. They were already winners. They were already champions, even with 2 games to go, but they finished it off in style with a 25-13 win over the Toyota Buffaloes Legends. And what a way to end the season for the Cobs, unbeaten there. And well, I was reading some of the comments of the captain saying they are already focusing on the Uganda Cup. Well, we are privileged to have well, good representation from the Cobs together with the trophy that they won. Something that had eluded them for 6 years. So it must be a good feeling for the Cobs that we have here. Well, Brando Dong leading the men in blue. And do you have your own version of the haka? So probably you can take us through that.
No, we don't have.
Oh, okay.
What do you have?
Correction to that, I am not leading the team. He's the club captain, I am the team captain. So he's a head of delegation.
So you've jumped the cube. You should be sitting behind.
Jumped the queue.
He's actually not jumped the queue.
No, he's worried
I'm
about...
embarrassed that the club captain is that shy.
No, he's wearing... he's putting on a very small t-shirt.
Okay.
So his stomach is a little bit exposed.
Anyway, congratulations, guys, as you pass on the microphone to the captain. Probably the captain can quickly take us through, do the honors of introducing the people that you have moved with tonight.
Okay, I'll start with the...
Start with the captain yourself.
My name is Dr. Tony Stondoja. I'm the player representative stroke captain of the Cobs. I moved the team captain, the minor lookalike, Odong Brian.
The Minala one.
Binala, sorry. Then our young boy, Adrian Casito, Essex back, performing above his weight.
Asaba Brian.
Very good candidate for the Minara name. As you say, youngster.
He's 15 years. He's 15 years. Asaba
Born
Brian.
in 1975-15. Okay.
Workhorse in Cobbs. Got his first try after a long time on Saturday. Collins Tumwewaze is our front row forward. Then the big man himself, Oscar Kalyango, the man of the season. He's stepped up way above his weight this time.
Yeah, definitely. I think I will come
aspects.
straight to Oscar Kalyango. Oscar, well, what an impressive season that you have had in that Cobbs team. What do you attribute all this to?
First of all, thank all my teammates. Considering the captain, that's the team captain, Brian Odong. He kept me going. My counterpart.
What was the club captain doing, Bob?
He was
Said team captain. Anyway, he was off the pitch, so yeah, man probably was doing the job on the pitch.
Justin Chimono, he happened to be my roommate when I was on campus. He pushed me when he came up and was shining. He pushed me, told me we had to shine together. And yeah, my mentor, Timothy Modola as well. I thank him so much. Plus my girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
This is first in Ugandan sport. All they say is, I think the guy who gave me some. I think the guy who gave me breakfast. I didn't have. What's your girlfriend?
We have Eba Aturinde.
So what's her name?
Eba.
Maureen Chirabo. Hello. Thanks for watching.
Yes, Captain.
No, I'm saying hello to.
No, we have one of the guys that left out, Eba Aturinde, front row forward. DMAC Cobbs, DMAC sponsors also for their sponsorship, but the team has been on a high this season, and maybe they're too hungry for it. 5 years was quite a long time.
Nothing your wife or girlfriend did for you?
My wife did something.
Thank you.
Okay, but maybe I'll quickly go through you guys. Probably you can share with us your moment from the season. Probably the toughest game or the easiest. Your moment basically from the season. Let me start with the captain who has the mic. Okay,
Right,
yeah.
Well, all games have been a bit challenging. We started as underdogs, but along the way we picked up the tag of the top team. The games going forward from Rhinos, Heathens, Buffaloes were always going to be very tough because Rhinos picked up along the way, performed way above the expectation. They gave us quite a tough game. We had to score all the first points in first half. Second half there was no score. Then Heathens comes along, and it was always going to be a tough battle at Legends. But somehow they stood up and won the game. Then Buffaloes also at Chadondo, which were...
Actually, that's what I want to ask you. Before probably these other guys speak, I mean, how important was that Heathens game? Because I think that's where the biggest of statements for me, I think, was made for the season.
Yes, the first Heathens game, like Cobbs Heathens games, it tears every form book to shreds. It doesn't matter who's unfit, it doesn't matter. Every Cobbs Heathens game is a derby. So whoever dominates that first game has the upper hand. And however bad Cobbs is performing, well, we've had very down seasons, but however bad each team is performing, they'll bring their A game on that day. So dominating that first round game counts a lot.
Yeah, and Tony, I know he's not here with us, but just how much of an influence was Scott Oloch in this season? Seeing that you picked him from your rivals.
No, Scott Oloch actually was developed and brought up by Cobbs, and he actually crossed after he had reached his pinnacle around 2008, 2009, but close to Heathens, but he's been in Cobbs for 3 years earlier. But he's been immeasurable in maturity. I'll let Odong chip on with that, but he wants to. He knows that.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tony. About Scott, I think we can't really measure what he has added to the team because I think everyone has put in his effort. So if you say one man, it's a bit hard on the rest. I think we've had a dominant pack because Scott is at the back of the scrum. Yeah. So when we're pushing, most probably he's not pushing. He waits. He's the one who receives the ball. So if you say, if we give him too much credit, it means the other 7 are being, we're looking down on them. So I think it was a whole team effort from 1 to 15 and then 16 to 23. So everyone put in equal amount of effort because at the end of the day, the whole team as Cobbs went unbeaten, not one man.
It's a team game.
But yeah, it's a team game, but you see, in sport, there's so many elements where games are won, you know. because you didn't beat Heathens in the side in the first game because you were simply playing great rugby, but the anger in you, I think, played a huge part. You really wanted to get this. And if you're going to make a statement, you've got to beat the guys who've been dominating Uganda rugby. So are you saying that if someone came out and said probably Scott Olot's coming, gave the team a lift, do you think it is taking away credit from Kalyango and probably Justin?
Not really. Okay. Like Scott coming, okay, yes. He added something to us and removed something from the enemy. That's the most important point. So it's actually like in football they call it a 6-pointer.
Yeah.
You take 3, remove 3.
Yeah.
So that's what he brought to the team. We got, and yes, he helped develop certain players on the team. The younger guys, like Cyrus, our hooker, and Ramazan. They're young boys, 18 years old. So Scott, from training, you'd see he's trying to guide them, and yeah, even the whole team.
Okay.
On game day, he would give us a good speech and give us some motivational.
Okay, right. Well, let me give a chance to everyone to share with us their highlights from the season. Yes, Brian, starting with you quickly.
With me?
Yeah, your highlight?
My highlight for the season was, first of all, my return from injury. I had my ligaments in the knee, meniscus was torn, so I had an operation on it, and I was able to return to rugby after a year out. So my highlight was my return to rugby.
Okay.
But highlight as a team, that win at Chadon against Buffaloes. I think everyone actually thought we were going to cough up there, but we put in a good performance. That was my highlight for the season.
Okay. Yeah, quickly, your highlight?
My highlight for the season was my first game at the club against MTN Heathens. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, my highlight of the season was going unbeaten.
Going unbeaten.
Yeah.
So your highlight was the whole season.
And scoring a try.
Congratulations.
I think scoring a try should have. Okay.
I'd like to add that that was his first try this season, and I think for Cobbs. No. Okay.
The first and the only one.
You could see that in the celebrations by Scott. My highlight was my first game, my debut season, winning the league unbeaten, but also putting that 152-0 record score against Lira Bulls when we traveled.
Okay, well, and finally, Oscar, you had several man of the match performances throughout the season. Which one really stood out for you?
Unfortunately, on my best games, I didn't get man of the match, but my highlights were against my very good friend and my partner on national team, my captain as well, Wakos Wakorach.
I had a feeling you had
I
know
think,
you.
although my best opposition for this season was the young Philip Wakorach. He gave us headache on second leg game against rather Heathens. He went all out on us because he's really good, I must say.
What do you make of Philip Wakorach? When you talk about Philip, I mean...
Philip, for me, is a natural 15. He's really good. He deserves all the... I think he's underrated. He's very, very, very good. He deserves where he is.
All right, and finally...
my highlight of the season was the 13-14 win at Chadondo against Heathens. Very difficult game, but we came away with it, and it was something that I'll treasure, put in the treasure box for a long time, and tell my kids about that game.
Definitely.
You must have treasured it, man. Looking emotional, man.
Well,
sure I don't cry, man.
Congratulations again to the Dima Cops for winning the championship, a beautiful trophy that they have here after a very long time. And of course, well, Justin Chimono was not able to set a new record of tries scored, so he still shares it with Alan Musoke there. But beautiful stuff happening in rugby. On that note, we will take a short break. When we come back, we will be talking volleyball. We'll cross over to the NBA, talk a bit of the European football, and of course a lot more. Remember, you can join this discussion on Facebook and on Twitter. Our Facebook page is NTV Sports Bar, and our Twitter handle is at NTV Sports Bar 1. Please send those tweets and the Facebook posts. We will read them as we go on, but for now, it's a break.
Bassebo ne bannyabo kano ke kaseera ke tubadde tulindiridde round 1.
That was
bannaffe tubeetondera oluwalo olusooka terugenze bulungi naye kati kabamu ku kyokunywa ekizaamu amaanyi 9mm tulabe binaddirira second round.
owulira ng'onafuye oyagala okuddamu amaanyi nyola 9mm. 9mm, let energy do the work.
Welcome back. This is Sports Bar live from Club Silk Oxygen, and we are powered by 9mm energy drink. That's why Brian always has a lot of energy, even Aisha, who is sitting across.
That's right. It comes around the same time when you've got rugby guys who won the championship. So 9mm is doing a good job.
Definitely. Well, like I said, please continue sharing with us. Join this discussion on Facebook and on Twitter. We will read out your comments as we go on. Now we will turn our attention to volleyball. The national ladies team is in Nairobi for the final qualifying round for the World Championships that will be in Italy. Uganda started with the loss to Kenya in 3 straight sets. However, today they were able to win their game against the Seychelles 3 sets to 2. And that means that a couple of opponents are still await the ladies, including Senegal and Tunisia, as the ladies seek to be probably the only nation that will be at the World Championships, because there's only one slot. Now on this, I will go straight to the coach of the men's side, Anthony Ndaula. He will take us briefly through what he thinks about this team. Well, coach, to start with, we know that the ladies were up against very tough opposition. Did you give them a chance out of this tournament?
The answer is already given. Thank you very much, coach.
Well, you see, the opposition against our team depended on how much we put in. We really put in a lot, and we thought, but you see, we are still some distance away from these teams that we are playing, because they have been there before, and they have been in these tournaments. That's why you see, when you go to the FIVB website, you don't see Uganda ranked. You get it is always the last, the other side, because we don't play most of these tournaments. But the good thing about it all is that when you look at our girls especially, I think they're really moving up from where they were. And I would really like to commend not only the federation, but even the coaches. They have really put in a lot, because it is the first time that Uganda has got to this level. Because this is the last level. Any team that wins this bit goes to, I think it's Turkey, where they are going to play the World Championship. So the girls have really done a lot, and we should really commend them.
Okay, maybe asking for the chance is a little unrealistic. The better question would be, what targets do you have going to this tournament? Minus, of course, winning it. Okay, not winning it necessarily, but qualifying for the one slot. What was the team looking at exactly? The federation, the coaches, and even the girls themselves. Was it, we go, learn 1 or 2 things, next time we go, we better ourselves and give ourselves a bigger chance? Or is it, you know what, we've seen ugly things happen in sport. Greece won the European Championship. Okay, maybe also.
You said Kanyomozi's question was unfair. Yours is most unfair.
Exactly. Okay. Okay, before I could even say Cobbs, someone has already won the, but okay, it was a joke saying, okay. You see, also Cobbs won the championship.
Yeah, because I can't really know I haven't talked to the coach of the women to know exactly what his aims were. But as far as I'm concerned, exposing our girls was very, very important for us. Because you see, it becomes very difficult for you to compete to any other level, to move to a higher level before you really test what we call in our game the big boys. You get it. Kenya has been #1 on the continent for over 10 years. You get it. That even the Arabs have failed to dislodge him until the Olympics anyway recently, when Algeria dislodged them. But Kenya has always been #1. So it becomes very difficult for us to think that because we have been in Netherlands for 2 weeks, we can just come and dislodge them. it's very difficult.
Okay, well, Oscar, are you wishing to say something about volleyball?
Yes, I would want to say something. Fortunately, stand here. Mr. Ndaula Anthony happened to be my class teacher in my high school, A-level. I happened to be his class monitor, and he was a no-nonsense man. I wish you could take that attitude.
Is that why you didn't play volleyball and went for rugby?
No, he actually supported wherever you are. He came and watched my rugby. When I was in school, he supported the team, but I don't know if he does the same for the volleyball team, but I think you need to take your no give up attitude to the team, and you'll get there. I know. I trust you. You can lead the team.
Wow. Well, Clive, you've been following this team, and Tony Lacon, the coach, always talks about this team. I mean, they will get better because they are under 25, all of them. And how much time do you think you can give this team to be where the coach wants them to be?
But the club believes we can go to the World Championship.
No, I believed you could beat Egypt, and we did. That was then. But when you look at these qualifiers that started last year, Uganda had last been active in 2007. That's a period of 7 years. That team that started last year had one player who was on the team 5 years ago, and that player is not currently with the team in Nairobi, the former captain, Prosia Lobo. So you're looking at a whole new team. Most of those players have 4 caps, 3 caps. I think the current captain, Christian Alupa, has the most caps, 7. So you're looking at a whole new team that Tony Lacone and the rest are trying to build something new for the future. Saying that we are going to Kenya to qualify and go for the World Championship, yes, we are allowed to believe, but there is no way it was going to happen. You're playing against a team like Kenya. Most of those players start playing volleyball in their primary schools. We have players who start playing volleyball in high school. Some switch from other sports to join volleyball. Some players, yes, they are talented. Within a period of 1-2 years, they have learned the sport and they are too good in certain aspects. They are on the team. There's no way you'll go out there and compete against somebody who has been playing this sport for a while. They're doing it for money, but you're doing it to see yourself out of school. You're doing it to get to the next level. It was always going to be hard for us.
All right, well, interesting there. Finally, from you, Coach Ndaula, what can Uganda do right to be there where the top volleyball playing nations are, briefly?
We don't have to do anything else that other people don't do. We basically have to do what other teams are doing. We have failed, really, me inclusive, to sort of attract, for instance, sponsors in our game. Fortunately for the girls, they are coming in. But the entire game of volleyball, we are still failing to bring them in. And this is one thing that we really have to concentrate on, because without sponsors, we cannot really push this game to another level. And that is exactly what we are doing. We are trying to get in sponsors to be able to push this game to another level, because the game has become too expensive. You need people to help you to drive it to a different level.
Okay, well, interesting there. Well, we will leave the volleyball at that for now and go into basketball. It was the All-Star weekend and all the action was happening in New Orleans. It was the East against the West. Now, well, my favorite part is always the slam dunk. Although Brian has issues with the slam dunk competition this year, I wasn't complaining, especially after that John Hall dunk. But, well, the East taking the day, well, and one man, Brian Kyrie Irving, having an impressive game there together with Carmelo Anthony. And, well, he said they had to take it personal. And it was clear they were taking it personal.
It was personal. And this probably, rarely do we compare what happens on the local scene to the international, but I think it was as personal as Cubs winning the championship. I'm sorry to over-talk about Cubs, but it was personal. They needed to do something, and they did it, because I think, given us how big stars LeBron and Carmelo, for example, are, forget about Irving, but Carmelo and LeBron, for them to be seated next to Kevin Durant and CP3 and the Kobe's and talk about, you know what, guys, we've always battered you, this is our thing. I think they needed to come out, and which they did, of course. I think they answered clearly, and the message was out. That's why I cannot wait for Albert to speak, because he was so convinced. I think the West was winning. So please, Mr.
Albert, as you come in, probably you can also react to what Brian told me, that those dunks were Ugandan.
There is no Ugandan player that can jump over anyone without kicking them.
you
could have
kidding?
tried it and kicked someone.
You see the examples of...
Tried it
Okay,
and
we are
kicked
talking
someone
basketballers
there.
or talking about people who are planning to become basketballers?
Well,
Like
the man
that.
won a dunking competition in FNL after jumping over.
Thank you very much. Again, you can see what you're talking about. FNL. Fun competition.
We have had the USPA team in FNL for about 3 years and you have never been able to play. So
I'm the coach.
you can't be judging guys like that.
But anyway, Albert.
So anyway, about the NBA, yes, I am one of the few people who ate humble pie from last week's show. Going into the All-Star, Patrick, and looking at the record of the Western teams in the league versus the Eastern teams, before the All-Star weekend, there was 66-28 against a winning record of the West against Eastern teams. But they went in there. One of the most interesting things I saw, actually, I watched the pre-game team talk of Frank Vogel, the Indiana Pacers coach, who was the coach of the East. He walked into the locker room and the first thing he said, I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of hearing this nonsense about the East being unable to beat the West when the last 2 years the champion has been from the East. And he walked out of the locker room. These guys just came out with a vengeance and beat up on these guys. The West had an 18-point lead in the last 4 minutes of the game, but Kyrie Irving and LeBron James and 2 3-pointers from Carmelo Anthony, they just dug the game out. So for me, it was a very interesting game, and I don't believe Brian when he says those dunks were Uganda. This is a 6'1" guy. A 6'1" guy. The last time a point guard won a dunking comps championship, a dunking comps challenge, was when Nate Robinson jumped over Dwight Howard.
But I don't
and
remember
we both know that there's nothing Ugandan about that.
Yeah, actually don't remember saying that. Those are allegations that have not...
Brad, unfortunately, we have to...
standing in a position where he has the right to make allegations.
He should be very careful.
Well, interesting stuff there happening at the NBA games there. Well, we will start look at European football. We will start in Germany. Well, the story has been the same. Bayern Munich extending their impressive run this time round, beating Freiburg 4-0, and then Bayer Leverkusen losing their ground on them as they were beaten by Schalke 2-1, as Dortmund beat Frankfurt 4-0. And they closed the gap between them and Leverkusen to 1 point. But, Mark, that's the situation in Germany, and nothing much, apart from the fact that Leverkusen seem to be faltering and might be out of the second position running totally.
Well, everyone is faltering. Everyone around Bayern is faltering. So I don't think there's any story in the Bundesliga. I think Bayern should just be given the shield and we move on. I think they're just going to... There's no race, put frankly. Bayern are just too strong. Even without Ribéry, I think they've lost Shaqiri for the Arsenal game, but I don't think any of that is going to cost them. They have such depth, they have such belief, they have such a very, very good team, a very good coach, and I can just see that gap widening. I think Bayern are going to be crowned Bundesliga champions if somewhere between, I think, in April.
All right. But you give Dortmund some credit. I mean, they were awful before the winter break. I think the last 3-4 games, they've looked much better. Actually, you can talk about Bayer Leverkusen going down, but Dortmund have looked better. But I think for the rest, even I think at the start of the season, much as I thought Dortmund would give Bayern a good run for their money, the only thing I think now, we can only judge Bayern in Europe, and probably against Dortmund, I still believe it's a big game when Bayern play Dortmund. It doesn't matter what is available.
They've sold them Gotthard, they've sold them Lewandowski probably next season. They're going to be selling them.
Although Dortmund, of course, making his debut there and scoring with barely 17 minutes on the pitch. Now, moving on to Italy, almost same story. Juventus extending their lead, keeping it at 9 points. This time round, beating Chievo 3-1. And then the guys that are doing the chasing, Roma beating Sampdoria 3-0, as Napoli beat Sassuolo 2-0. And Colin, Milan probably warming up for their game against Atletico Madrid with that 1-0 win and a wonder goal by Mario Balotelli there.
Yeah, interesting seeing that a week ago he was sobbing as he was being substituted. Super Mario's stupendous goal that warming up into the game that against Atletico midweek, in one that you think Atletico would be a better team to actually take the day. But Milan themselves, I think, under Clares Seedorf, slowly but surely picking up on the points and should fancy themselves for Europa Cup place I'm not talking Champions League football.
Yeah, it's a mark of how Milan have fallen.
Yeah, it's a mark of
they're
how
being fancied for Europa Cup players.
How about this issue? Mario, for example, I saw him, he takes a free kick. It's a poor one. I think someone's telling. He's always pissed, by the way. Whatever pisses him off, I don't know. He scored the goal, he didn't want to celebrate as if he scored 100 of them this season.
The last time he was crying.
The last time he was crying, okay, a woman cannot make you have such big
the boy has a problem.
Because they say, since you got to know that
Probably
he has a kid with the ex-girlfriend.
dealing with the early stages of fatherhood, because
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Mario, fatherhood?
Balotelli is an enigma. I think I last saw him celebrate a goal against Germany. That one when he posed like King Kong of sorts. Anyhow, straight into the Serie A. I think Juventus, like we did say a while back, that they are going to walk away with this championship also by the end of March, because they're chasing Parker consistently inconsistent. Now that also Fiorentina have went 2-1 down to Internazionale at the weekend. Roma and Napoli are winning games, but have already given away a 9-point lead, and Juventus out of Europe look a better side to actually take the honors.
Yeah, definitely they don't look like they are going to give up that 9-point lead. We'll of course talk about Milan later on when we come to the preview of the UEFA Champions League, but for now we will go into a break. When we come back, we will briefly talk about La Liga, going to the FA Cup, and then of course come back with the Champions League. We have action tomorrow and on Wednesday. This is Sports Bar, live from Club Silk Oxygen, of course with 9mm, the energy drink that you need. Let's go into that break.
I can smell that liquor on your breath.
Because I've been drinking.
Welcome back. This is Sports Bar, live from Club Silk Oxygen, brought to you by 9mm energy drink. Well, we still have lively people here. Well, men from Cobbs, Coach Ndaula from Volleyball. We have Chiseka from KCCFC. So it's interesting stuff happening here.
We also have Clive, who covers women's volleyball.
Yeah, Clive. Does it cover only women's volleyball?
Okay,
And men's too.
Women's volleyball, yes.
Anyway, well, we have some feedback from Facebook and Twitter, and we will cross over to Aisha, who has everything, as you have responded to whatever we have discussed so far.
Well, a lot of congratulatory messages to Cobbs. Derek Rock saying, "Congs to the Cobbs. We are tuned in, guys." Colonel Ivan Escopab going philosophical on us. Every king was once a crying baby, and every great building was once a map. It's not important where you are today, but where you will reach tomorrow is important. Keep it up, Cobbs at large.
All those words to describe the Cobbs victory.
Were you once crying babies?
Those are lyrics of
Aisha, some two more.
Obama Samuel saying, "Great work, Cobbs. Indeed, you should fight for more trophies in your trophy cabinet. You don't want it to look like the Arsenal one." And Edward Keys. Eduardo Keys Morota saying, "Feeling bad about my Heathens team not being in that place. Anyway, big up to Cobbs, and we're enjoying the show.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And one assurance I can give you is you are champion. You will definitely be here because, this is a bar for the champions. And congratulations again. And we hope to see more and more champions here as we move on to the La Liga. 3 teams still topping on 60 points with 14 games to go. Well, it's Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Real Madrid. Barcelona 6-0 winners over Rayo Vallecano, and then Atletico Madrid beating Valladolid 3-0. Well, goals from Godin, Raul Garcia, and Diego Costa as Real Madrid beat Getafe 3-0. So it's 60 points for the 3 of them. And Mark, briefly from Spain, at one point Atletico Madrid looked like they were going off the pace. They are back. Do you think it's going to be like this till the final end of the season?
I think it's going to be like this till the final end of the season. I think it's a fantastic advert for Spanish football. They've been accused of being a 2-horse race. Barcelona, Real Madrid, a bit like the SPL in Scotland, where it was the case of Rangers or Celtic. So I think it's good that finally there's another team which is rivaling the hegemony of Barcelona and Real Madrid. And I think they're going to go down to the wire. I think Atletico Madrid are going to last. They are coping without some key injuries, including David Villa. Diego Costa is shouldering the scoring burden very, very well. And I don't think, they're out of the Copa del Rey. Anyway, there's only one game left in the Copa del Rey, which is the final between Barcelona and Real Madrid. But I don't see them, I don't think they'll win the league, but I think they'll be just up and about come the end of the season. Let's remember that in the La Liga, they consider head-to-head and not goal difference. So if there's a tie between Real Madrid and Atletico, as it stands, Atletico would win the league because they've already beaten Real Madrid in the first leg. Of course, there's still the return leg at the Calderon. So it's head-to-head.
Unfortunately, it's not going to happen because Madrid will be ahead of them. And I'm loving the way Madrid are looking because I think in the last 2-3 years you've seen they have really struggled to make things happen when Ronaldo is not playing. Okay. Right now, Karim Benzema is scoring goals. Jesse Rodriguez is doing well. Maybe the other problem...
And Gareth Bale is playing good football for Real Madrid.
I was about to say, the problem is that Gareth Bale is not playing that well after being bought 101, and Mark is telling me he's playing...
Well,
because the question who should be benched when Ronaldo is
Real Madrid have won all their games without Ronaldo. And Gareth Bale in every game has either scored or he's had an assist. So he's not worth £100 million. Let's forget ourselves, but he's playing very well.
Well, we will quickly move on from Spain and go to England. It was FA Cup action over the weekend. Interesting ties there, including Manchester City beating Chelsea 2-0. Jovetic and Sami Nasri with the goals for City, as Everton beat Swansea 3-1, and then Wigan beat Cardiff City, and Arsenal yesterday avenging that 5-1 mauling at Anfield with the 2-1 win over Liverpool, in the process making it to the quarter-finals, which present us with some mouth-watering clashes. Arsenal taking on Everton at the Emirates, and then we have Manchester City up against Wigan. Well, that's how the FA Cup turned out. And well, Brian, quickly, Arsenal look like they can't end that barren run.
Good revenge, I think, after the 5-1. But probably before the Arsenal game, I think, once you wake up and go to a press conference and tell people they are specialists in failure, you've got to deliver something. Mourinho must have been embarrassed in that Man City game. They didn't have a single shot on target. They looked awful. Man City was all over them. But for Arsenal, I think they had to recover, which they did. But you must say, I was talking about Liverpool being given 20 minutes. Then you think, okay, we have them in our hands because they usually start fast. Actually, you can as well say they start fast and furious, and you're thinking, okay, we're in trouble. And you could actually see Daniel Sturridge, I think, should have given Liverpool a 2-0 lead.
After 5 minutes.
Before Arsenal took the lead. So that's how good they are in the start minutes. But I think Arsenal held in there and they managed to come through. But this Liverpool team is doing something.
Okay, let me hear from Ronit Seka before I come to Ronit Seka. I know you're no ref, but that penalty call, the second one, do you think it was a genuine one?
Actually, I didn't watch the match.
Okay.
Because of and typical on it, Seka for a bad.
Okay, we'll cross over. Yes.
I wanted to tell him something. You're talking about Mourinho telling Mwenga he's a specialist in failure, but actually he had some data to back what he said up. And even after the Man City game, yes, I should give credit to Mourinho. Yes, they lost, but he had the guts to say we didn't play the better football. We didn't deserve to win, and It takes a man to say that.
No, but I think Mourinho needs a lesson not to in modesty. I think, I mean, some of those things,
but Wenger said that what he said was...
I mean, Mourinho is not the most successful coach there's been. I mean, the coaches like the boss who won every trophy there is in football.
Yeah.
I don't think the boss.
But Mark,
I don't think the boss could sit before any press conference.
I think we
and go on and on, you know, about his.
I think Mark, we need to draw a line between modesty and saying
Mourinho is classless.
Mourinho, I don't say the truth without being nice.
But you see what?
He's saying the truth without being nice.
The truth.
After the Man City game, he's accusing journalists actually of setting him up.
I mean, Pep Guardiola.
Because yes, when he was
he's Mourinho, he's capable of doing
that. Pep Guardiola has won.
Anyway, guys,
but Arsenal has not won anything in 8 years.
Guardiola will not.
Okay.
Well, Guardiola will not sit anywhere.
To show you that Mourinho actually realized was wrong. After the Man City game, they asked him what he made of the reaction after his statements. He says, "You are the problem." He's telling the journalists that the problem, because I think clearly he must have found himself in a very stupid situation.
Okay, well, trust me, it looks like this war of words is not going to be over soon.
You mean here or
no, between Mourinho and Wenger, because Wenger said that what Mourinho said was silly and disrespectful.
But
and I'm sure Mourinho is going to react to that, definitely.
But Brian, sorry, Patrick, talking about City, I think clearly they've missed some very crucial players. I think the return of Nasri has been missed in this spell of games. They don't have Fernandinho and Aguero, who I think have been their best players this season. When City have those three players on the pitch, when they have Nasri in their stable as well as Fernandinho and Aguero, they are a very, very different team from the one Chelsea beat in the league. And
okay, definitely. Let's actually start. Let's start from there. For their game against Barcelona, they have Fernandinho back, although it comes too early for Sergio Aguero. But Pellegrini says he might be available for the weekend games. But they take on Barcelona in an interesting tie, and then there's also PSG taking on Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen have been in some horrible form there. And then we'll have Arsenal hosting Bayern Munich on Wednesday. There's also Milan hosting Atletico Madrid. Unfortunately, we don't have much time to talk about this. I will hear from Colin about Arsenal Bayern Munich briefly.
Yeah, tough one that. Arsenal, having lost last year, Arsenal still lost that fixture at home. And they are up against an all-firing Bayern Munich. Them also not posting very positive results, considering the 5-1 they lost to Liverpool a couple of days ago. You tend to think Bayern Munich are going to come out all guns blazing like they did the previous tie. But Arsenal are also not going to lay low because, in all honesty, I think Bayern are due a loss of some sort.
Okay, and Albert, straight to you. Man City, Barcelona, very high-scoring sides. Man City have a few players back. You think it's going to be a high-scoring game?
It is definitely going to be a high-scoring game. Both defenses have been faltering for a long time. We don't expect any of them to keep their... I would have used a different analogy, but Mark would hold me at discipline. I don't think anyone can keep their gate shut. But I think Barcelona have to be really wary about the striking power force of Man City and the ability of Man City to now get goals from other places where they previously couldn't get them. Because in the past, in the Champions League, Manchester City would only be capable of scoring through their strikers. Now, though, they have Yaya Toure who can pour in goals. They have Sami Nasri who has been surprising us day in, day out, even though he says it's because of vengeance. But on some days, he has put on some masterclasses. So maybe, hopefully, they get everyone back and we get a very good time.
All right. Well, and on that note, I think we will have to end it here. But those games are coming out: Paris Saint-Germain and Bayer Leverkusen tomorrow, and then Manchester City and Barcelona. While on Wednesday we'll have Atletico Madrid away to Milan, and then Arsenal hosting Bayern Munich. So those are the midweek Champions League games. And probably briefly on the local scene, we have in badminton, the Uganda International Badminton Open starts on Thursday. It will end on Sunday. 15 foreign teams are coming here, over 60 players, 42 from Uganda, while the two Ugandan cricketers that disappeared in New Zealand, well, turned themselves into the authorities. They are asking for legal papers. They're asking for asylum.
USPA has a game on Friday.
And USPA has a game on Friday. Well, thank
you.
Coach,
make that clear, please.
Thank you very much. You have the USPA president and the USPA coach who is about to be sacked anytime from now. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. It's been Sports Bar from Club Silk with 9mm energy drink. My name is Patrick Kanyumos. Brian Tuka, Mark Namanya, Aisha decided to sit with rugby players the other side, Coach Ndaula, the entire Cobbs team, thank you very much for joining us. And well, from everyone from wherever you've been watching from, it's always a pleasure. Have a lovely night and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
owulira ng'onafuye oyagala okuddamu amaanyi nywa 9mm.
NTV, turning on your world.